Welcome back to Retro Tech Toys. Today we're going to hopefully just clean some NES cartridges. I've got three more here that I've picked up from my local video game store that I love and frequent quite a bit. And they've all got a few issues. Some have blank screens, some only load part of the time. And these are three games that I'm excited to have. So let's check them out and see if we can get them running again. Okay, we're back. I've got a little cap full of isopropyl alcohol. I've got the three games. We have the classic in here that we're going to try them out on. And we've got my favorite little monitor here. And we're going to open up these games and clean them up and see what we can do. So the first one that I have here is Golgo 13. I played this a lot as a kid when it came out. This one's a pretty interesting game. It has sort of a first-person shooter aspect. It's got a side-scroller aspect to it. It's got kind of an RPG thing going on. It's a really interesting, very different kind of game. I like it a lot, and I grabbed it for, as you can see, $7.95. So that's a pretty good price as far as I'm concerned. It only loads part of the time. Sometimes I get a blank screen, sometimes it loads. Sometimes there's just a bunch of gibberish on the screen, so now, if you're wondering what I use to take these apart, it's like a little security bit screwdriver. I believe some call it a game bit, some call it a security bit. It's available on Amazon and several other places. I've got it linked below in my description if you want to check that out. It's really cheap. I think I paid $5 for it. Okay, this has a white film on the connectors here. That's really nasty. I'm hoping that's just dirt. Go ahead and clean this up. We'll see what kind of filth we get off of it. Yeah, it's really dirty. I don't know if you could see that from where the camera is pointing right now, but it's dirty. I just love the idea of restoring these things. And in this case, just cleaning them up, checking any capacitors, which there's one right there, and it looks really good. There's nothing wrong with it. I've yet to see any capacitors that are bad on these games. I do have a few that take batteries that are gonna have to be switched out soon for new batteries. And I'm trying to get this up, and the problem is that whatever's on there is caked on really thick, and I don't know if that's ever going to come off. It looks slightly corroded, or at least, like I've said in the past, somebody's just taken it and jammed it into their Nintendo because it wasn't working properly, which it was probably their Nintendo that wasn't working properly, not the game, but now it might be the game as well. And as I'm drying the alcohol off of this, I'm not getting much dirt, a little bit. So let's hopefully call this one cleaned up. We'll put it back together and we'll test it out to see if it plays. So there we go. It's put back together perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and take this price tag off of it because it's home now. Whether it works or not, it's home. And the label and everything looks good. A little bit of scratching on the back. I don't really think I even need to clean this. It looks great. That just needed a cleaning, and it did have a bunch of scuffs or some possible corrosion on it, but it's not affecting the way it plays, so hey, that's good. Look at that. Yeah, it looks great. All right, the next one is Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. The cartridge doesn't look that great. I mean, it's not dirty. It's just got some Sharpie here, and it's pretty scuffed up. I didn't really need a super nice copy of Super Mario Duck Hunt. I just wanted to have this in my collection. Also, I subscribe to the Retro Game Treasure, which they've already sent my games out for the month. I've yet to receive them. When I do, I'll unbox them here on the channel. But I also picked this up so that I could mark this as owned so they wouldn't ship me a copy of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt this month, because that's a pretty common game, and I'd rather not get that in a subscription box. Let's go ahead and get this label off of it, because like I said, these are all home now. and I might just go ahead and go over some stuff. I might try to take that off later. That's probably going to require a bit more elbow grease, although a lot of it seems to be coming clean now. I might scrub it a little bit more. Yeah, I get why people put their initials in Sharpie, especially if you have a kid. You don't want your games to get stolen. No, as when I was a kid, you know, we used to trade video games with our friends and stuff, and there was no way for parents to tell which games were ours and which games were our friends. And, you know, our parents bought us those games, but they don't remember what they bought us. So I get it, but now I hate having that on there. All right, probably not getting any more of that off, but we did get a good bit of it off. And there's more on the front. Oh, that doesn't seem to want to come off. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and open this up and see what we can do. This one doesn't like to load at all. I got it to load once out of maybe 10 tries. Okay, let's have a look here. Again, the capacitor looks fantastic, as I expected, and I know exactly what's wrong with this game. I don't know if it's easy to tell, but these pins are, or rather these connectors are disgusting. So that's dirty. That's why I've got the classic in here. You don't want to put this in your actual Nintendo before you've cleaned it or checked it or any of that. The PCB looks really good. I've had a couple of games that I've done videos on to where it looked like maybe some traces were scratched off or something, but this isn't anything like that. Yeah, this was really dirty, and that's just super nasty. And you might wonder why I don't just try to clean them before I open them up, but I might as well open them up. It takes, 5 seconds to open these things up when you have the right screwdriver bit. And, if there are other problems that you haven't identified, you can sit there and clean all day and you're not going to fix anything. But I could tell that someone has just really abused this copy of Super Mario Brothers. But I have hopes for it. I mean, the good news is that these are super common, so I mean, if anything happened to this one and we can't get it to work, then, it's just as simple as going out and spending another $5 or $6 on another copy. This particular one I picked up for $7.95, but I had trade-in credits, so, I don't really pay that for these. I have all sorts of things that I take down to this place when I'm not playing them anymore, and they actually give fair rates for trade-in. It's not like, GameStop. Now, for one of the first times that I've ever seen this, usually the PCBs look really good, but this board was a little dusty inside. I don't know if anybody's tried to open it before. And it's got a little nasty dark spot right there that kind of comes off with my fingernail, but it doesn't come off with the cotton swab. Let's go ahead and put that back together and see if that'll play. It would help if I did it right. All right, here we go. We've still got some sticker residue and some Sharpie, but I'm just really concerned with whether or not it plays. Here we go. Well, look at that. I can't believe I did not actually have a copy of Super Mario Brothers before, and this is the exact one that I played as a kid, the Super Mario and Duck Hunt game pack. I had this one, and then later on I had the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and World Clash Track Meet. So those are the two that I want to collect. Not the standalones. I like the little game packs here. So this one works. Let's move on to one of my very favorite games. All right, here we have Dragon Warrior, or overseas Dragon Quest. This is the first one. This is one of my favorite games. I have beaten this thing so many times. I cannot tell you how many times I have beaten this. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I should have done for these two. I'm going to put it in so you guys can see what it's doing. You see I've got garbled text here. That's weird. And if you wiggle it around, it does crazy stuff, but that's not this system. It's not that at all. So yeah, this one has issues. Let's go ahead and take this apart. Okay, here we are. Yeah, we've got kind of a larger board here with a couple of capacitors on it and a battery. And I'm not going to change the battery out yet, but it's going to need it soon. The connectors are pretty filthy, and the board itself is actually a little dirty. I wonder if someone's tried to take this apart and left it disassembled for a little while, because it's a little dirty up all around here too. So let's find out. We want to be careful too not to mess these capacitors up. I mean, I could resolder them on if something happened, but we don't want to do that. We don't even want to get to that. We just, we want to take care of our games. And it's kind of dirty, but it's not bad. I mean, it looked like it was filthy, but I'm not getting a whole lot of that off. I'm getting some off. So if you look at the capacitors, they look good. They look like, they look like brand new capacitors. They're not, but they look like it. All right, you ready? Look at that. That's super cool. It works. It's not freezing. Let's see if there are any saved data or anything on here. Yeah, look at that. So whoever owned it, all their saved data is still there, so that battery's still good. Isn't that crazy how those batteries can last that long? I mean, these games were made in the 80s. And hey, those max cell batteries, not bad, right? So I've got 3 more games to add to my collection, totally fixed. Out of all these videos that I've done, we've only had 1 game that did not work and could not be fixed. That was that Amagon game, of course, that I keep talking about. I need to get another copy of that soon, so I stopped talking about it. I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing about that game. So that's all I've got for you today. I'm so happy to get these things working again. As always, be safe, and thank you so much for watching.